All right, I made a video a few months ago about how people messed up on their move to Winston-Salem. That video looks like this if you want to take a look at it, but they made mistakes in several different areas. Now, well, that's good to take a look at if you don't want to make them. I've helped hundreds of people move here in the last 5 years from all over the country and even other parts of the world as well. I made the move with my two sons a little over 5 years ago from the suburbs of Chicago, but I want to talk about some things they had in common and things that they told me how they made this move excellent. And it doesn't matter if you're retiring to Winston-Salem or you're already in retirement, if you're starting or continuing to raise your family, if you're single. I've helped people from all walks of life make this move. These are some things that span all different demographics, so whatever your case may be, I think these will apply to you as well. Real quick, a couple notes. First, remember the excitement curve I've talked about before, right? You get somewhere new, it's super exciting, that curve is high, and then as things start to settle in, that curve takes a dip down as you start to wonder, what the heck did I do? That is normal, but then that curve should pick back up and you kind of get into like, here is my life, and you make your best life now. Just remember that. Second thing is, and I'm gonna put my Tony Robbins motivational hat on here for just a second. The title of this video is Build Your Best Life in Winston-Salem. And all of these things are gonna have an ing at the end of it, meaning these are action words. Building your best life is not gonna just happen to you when you plop down in a new place. You have to make it happen. And I believe anything is possible. Just take that next step. Keep these things in mind. And I really do hope that they help you. If you need help buying or selling real estate, my contact information is on the screen. It's also in the description below, as well as links to my Google reviews. You'll be in good hands if we work together. First thing is embracing and not comparing. And I admit I had a tough time with this one when I first moved here. But the folks that have done their best at making their best life in Winston-Salem, they have embraced this part of the journey. They're excited about the unknown versus anxious, and they're really looking forward to just going on this new journey. It really is, a lot of it, a state of mind. They embrace that Winston-Salem is a city that is growing and changing. It's growing slowly, but it does not look the same as it did 10 years ago, and it's not gonna look the same 10 years from now as it does today. They embrace that. And I was terrible at comparing, back in Chicago, it was this, and in Chicago, the streets were like that, and the restaurants were that, and I was terrible with comparing. I did not do a good job embracing, but I notice when I speak with clients that are really doing well here, they embrace their new surroundings, they embrace the new community and the new city, accept it for what it is, and just try to go with the flow. And we get comments in our Living in Winston-Salem Instagram a lot about the past of Winston-Salem. And if you want to take a look at the old days in Winston-Salem, we have some cool articles on the Living in Winston-Salem website, but also some neat reels on the Living in Winston-Salem Instagram. You can go back and you can kind of see time lapse. Some go way, way back. Some are back as the 90s and early 2000s. So the people that are doing really well are really good at embracing where they're at and not comparing where they came from. That took me quite a while to get up that learning curve, and after I did it, things became much, much better. Next thing that people did when they built their best life in Winston-Salem is they did a great job at connecting. And I mean connecting not only with people, but different things that you might be interested in and finding a way to do those things. But as far as connecting with people, the first thing that you're going to think about is the neighborhood. And neighborhoods in Winston-Salem can be really different, so you want to take your time when you're choosing. And what I mean by different is not just style of houses and prices and things like that. Some neighborhoods can have a real strong community feel to them. Some neighborhoods can have people where they tend to kind of keep on their own, and you can't always pick your neighbors, but yes, you can choose your neighborhood. And while it's not going to be a hard, fast rule that this neighborhood is like this and your neighbors are going to be like that, they can make some good guidelines. If you're in a neighborhood that's aging out, where the population is kind of turning over, people are downsizing from that neighborhood, and younger people are moving, and that's going to have a different feel than obviously a neighborhood that's more established and tends to cater to young professionals and things like that. So just some things to keep in mind. Because some really good connections are going to be in your neighborhood, that's important, but also think of connecting outside the neighborhood as well. Think of what your hobbies are or your interests are and your different activities that you like to do, and I am almost certain you can find a group based around that. I don't care if it's Dungeons and Dragons, going to wineries like I do, hiking groups, hanging out at the beauty salon, kind of whichever you're into. This city is big enough and diverse enough that just about whatever you're into, there's going to be groups centered around that. My kids had a great job connecting with kids at their youth group at our church. They're still really good friends with quite a few of them since that they met 5 years ago. And you have your more normal things, like if you're kids or you're into sports and things like that you connect around that. But really the challenge here in connecting is getting outside of your comfort zone a little bit. I mean, I have to be nice and talk to people all day in real estate. So sometimes when I get home, I just feel like sitting down and being quiet. But the challenge there and connecting, especially when I was going and meeting new people and looking for people to become a friend group or, you know, a peer group at work or something like that, is getting outside your comfort zone, doing some things that you might not feel like doing. I think if you do that, you're going to find the people here, for the most part, are so nice. It is amazing on how friendly the people they are and how they like supporting different causes, businesses, and things like that. So again, look for places to connect, go outside of your comfort zone, and really make a plan to do that on a consistent basis. I think that will just make your time here much better. Next thing people did when they're making their best life in Winston-Salem is reinventing. And what a fantastic time to reinvent yourself or your surroundings or your state of mind than when you go to a new place. I had a client, she was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and really wanted to start a business. And I thought it was really smart how she just took that time. There was already a big change and said, hey, I'm going to step out and do something I've always wanted and reinvent myself into not only a stay-at-home mom, but a business owner as well. Or another one that was really into art for years and years and years. And then now in their retirement age, really wanted to get back into art. So they're taking this time, we looked for a house that had a place specifically for an art studio, and really took that time to reinvent himself as an artist again, and really is embracing that life and making, you know, connections. But now he is, of course, the same person he was, but a different thing. You know, it leads with art versus what he was doing before, and has kind of reinvented himself that way. And then there are clients that want to become the people that teach English to people that don't speak English. And, you know, the list goes on of people that I spoke to where they took something like this as a catalyst to reinvent themselves and their surroundings into something that they have always wanted to do. If you're planning on moving here, take the time to think about something you want different, or someone different you want to be, or your family wants to be or be known for, and really embrace that as you make this move into a new place. It really seems to help make something that could be really scary turn into something that's really exciting, because you have this whole new person that you can look forward to becoming. Next thing that people who have made their best life here really have done well is exploring. Winston-Salem is amazing, and the entire Triad area is amazing as well for things you've probably heard about before. Medium-sized cities that are highly affordable with a lot of amenities, but still with a small community feel. And if you want to get to a big city, you're very close to Raleigh and Charlotte. Winston-Salem, with its history going back literally to the 1700s, and now today being at the forefront of life sciences technology, there are so many different things to explore. And again, that can go whatever you're interested in. If it's history back in the 1700s, I have a client that's really into old signs, specifically railroad and highway signs. And this has been a treasure trove for him just to explore in that, because of so much of the history that's going back so long in Winston-Salem. And when you add in the other cities in the Triad, Greensboro and High Point and the surrounding areas, there is so much to do and explore out here. You're in one of the best locations in the entire state for a large variety of things to do, right? You're a couple hours away from the mountains, 3.5 hours away from the beach, but just right here within our area. I had a client that really wanted to be close to Mount Airy because he loves the rock climbing wall that they have there and wanted to have easy access to it. I have other clients that like living in downtown lofts. I mean, just there's so much right here, so much to do, see, and explore if you just get out a little bit. People that have done the best in their move to Winston-Salem and made it their best life got really good at getting outside of their normal day-to-day routines, exploring the city and surrounding area for all it has to offer, and really making a habit of exploring the area. I think you'll be surprised if you do that too. The next thing people did that have really made their best life here in Winston-Salem is they got really good at adapting. Look, sometimes things don't go as we planned. Often they don't go as we planned 100%. And this is another place where, frankly, I struggled when I moved here. But I was such a thorough planner, I thought, before I moved here, right? I thought things were going to go this, and this. And guess what? I got here. They didn't. I struggled with adapting. And I'll tell you, those first few months here were not the best months that I've had when I'm in a brand new place. I knew literally 0 people when we moved here. And my vision for how I thought things were going to go just did not happen. And that really contributed to, did I do the right thing? Was this the right move? Should I go back? All those different things that, you know, those emotions that you go through in there, where people that have really made their best life here have done kind of the opposite of what I did. Thankfully, I got there eventually and adapted and grew, and it became okay. But the people that really excel learn that adapting thing right away. If you have kids that need to finish school before you make the move, or if you can't visit here for whatever reason before you move, you know, just be adaptable, not only when you're living here, but also in your planning as well. And if you're thinking about moving here, I'd love to be a resource for you. You can reach out to me directly at jeff@govalentino.com. Thanks.